Audible Inc. presents Reading in the Wild, the Book Whisperer's Keys to Cultivating Lifelong Reading Habits, written by Donalyn Miller and Susan Kelley, narrated by Julie Mckay. Forward. Living the wild life of a reader. The smartest answer I ever heard to the question many authors face, "How long did it take you to write this book?" was this: "It took me all my life up to this point." Yes, the physical act of putting words to paper might have occurred in a discrete period of time, but the heart of the book, the soul of the book, was a lifetime in the making. And so it is with Donalyn Miller's remarkable Reading in the Wild. Donalyn brings together here her lifetime of reading, being a wild reader, being a member of various reading communities, and her passion for books and reading. From the moment Donalyn began to talk about this book, the excitement has been there. I have watched eyes light up in a workshop as she talked about the concept that underpins Reading in the Wild. I saw firsthand how this idea resonated with educators. This idea of how we read when we are free to read is so essential, so basic, so fundamental that we have to ask, why has it not occurred to someone to write about it before now? The answer is simple. This book is the product of Donalyn's unique perspective. We first saw it in The Book Whisperer, her approach to inspiring and igniting a passion for reading among her students. As Donalyn talked about her approach, heads of teachers nodded in agreement, as if to say, well, of course, this makes sense. More heads will nod in agreement as Donalyn takes us further into transforming students into lifelong readers, especially readers in the wild, those who read not because they must for some assignment, but those who elect to share in this community of readers. Wild readers become part of the community of readers because reading is as important to them as eating and sleeping and breathing. Reading simply becomes one other activity in which they engage. They do so not only willingly, but enthusiastically. How does Donalyn do this? How does she make it seem a foregone conclusion that reading in the wild should be the purpose of every classroom? She does this with a three-pronged approach. First, Donalyn is a wild reader. Ask anyone who knows her, who counts her as a colleague and a friend. When you sit down to chat with her, the topic of books, reading, authors, and kids always comes into play. If you have followed her, along with Colby Sharp, on the monthly Twitter chat Title Talk, you can witness the depth of her knowledge about books and reading. She is quick to point out titles and authors, and she is just as quick to jot down a book she does not know, adding it to her TBR, to be read, shelf, or placing an order for the title so that she can add it to her stack. Her reading motivates others, including me, to accept challenges such as Book a Day or the Book Gap Challenge. You can read about these in Chapter 4. It seems almost a no-brainer, but if our friends are wild readers, we tend to be wild readers as well. I have watched Donalyn talk to audiences about building a community of readers. Her talk is always peppered with suggestions about books, authors, series, and the like. The other wild readers in the room show themselves immediately. They are the head nodders who are jotting down titles when they are not nodding in agreement about an author or title Donalyn recommends. This plays out in the classroom as well. Students whose teachers are wild readers are more likely to see this as something to aspire to. They are more likely to model themselves after their teacher. It is not surprising, then, to discover that the students in Donalyn's classes read dozens of books each year and participate fully in their reading community. As Catherine Mansfield observed, the pleasure of all reading is doubled when one lives with
Sample complete. Ready to continue?